New Balance has been one of my favorite sneaker brands over the last couple years, and the reason for that is because they've been consistently releasing good quality, good looking, and comfortable shoes, not to mention all the great collaborations they've been dropping over the last like 3 or 4 years. And while no, New Balance is not as hyped up as brands like Jordan or Nike, they're starting to edge their way into the conversation. And so in today's video, I'm going to count down the top 10 New Balance sneakers for 2023 that you can buy right now. Not only that, I'm also going to link all of these shoes through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen or in the description below. So getting into the next section of the video, I don't know, what was that? Oh, you guys noticed my backpack? I've actually been wearing this the whole video. I don't know how you guys didn't notice, it's crazy. Well, I guess since we're on the topic, might as well give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Sole Premise, who of course makes awesome bags like these. Now the reason I love my Sole Premise bag is because not only is this bag just a really great looking bag that's also very high quality, it also holds a lot of sneakers. In fact, for a small backpack like this, way more sneakers than you would think. So let me just give you guys a really quick rundown of what's inside my daily carry. Of course, we've got my TikTok stand. I don't do TikToks that much, it's just I have it in my backpack. Next up, we've got my laptop for editing said TikToks, and then in the front of the bag, we've got 2 different pairs of sneakers. Of course, 2 different pairs of New Balances, but not only that, all of Sole Premise's bags are TSA approved, which means you can bring them onto the airplane with you, so you don't have to check them underneath the airplane and happen to lose your valuable sneakers with some sort of crazy luggage mix-up, which doesn't seem like it happens a lot, but it happens more than you would think. So if you want to check out Sole Premise for yourself, make sure to click the link in the top of the description below and use my discount code Seth for 40% off your entire order. But diving right into the list, starting things off at number 10, we've got the New Balance TwoWay V3. So New Balance over the last couple years has been making their way back into the performance basketball sneaker market, a market which they had left a couple decades ago but decided to re-enter, and they did it with a splash. In fact, they signed one of the best basketball players in the world, Kawhi Leonard, the year he won a championship. And the good news is, since then, they've been releasing consistently solid performance basketball sneakers. It's always weird to me when established basketball brands release a new basketball sneaker and it sucks. Like, they've been doing this for decades. Why did they release a bad basketball sneaker after releasing so many good ones? The good thing about New Balance is that while yes, some of their basketball sneakers are not the best in certain aspects compared to some of their other basketball sneakers, so far there haven't been any stinkers. It's crazy to say, but most other brands can't say that. They'll drop something awesome and then the next year they'll drop something just terrible. It just doesn't make sense to me, but it happens. But getting into this shoe in particular, the reason I put the New Balance TwoWay V3 on this list is because this shoe is not only a great performance basketball sneaker on court, but it's also very budget friendly at just 120 bucks. It's a great all-around basketball sneaker that features a fuel cell midsole, which is relatively soft underfoot, a solid traction pattern, and of course a molded textile upper. And hey, if the New Balance TwoWay V3 is not exactly your speed, you can go for the slightly more expensive Kawhi 3, which is also a decent performer on court, or some of the older models. And as a Sixers fan, I've got to say I'm really happy with New Balance right now because they just signed Tyrese Maxey, who is one of my favorite basketball players out there. He's incredible. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of that partnership, whether it's a signature shoe or just him wearing New Balances, I don't know, but I'm excited for all of it. Coming in at number 9, the New Balance 574. The New Balance 574 is not only one of the brand's most popular sneakers of all time, but it's also incredibly well priced at just 85 bucks. This road and trail shoe features an incredibly uncomplicated but very versatile and very durable makeup. I mean, I've heard tons of people call this shoe the most New Balance shoe ever, and while yes, I totally understand that, there's a reason why this shoe is as popular as it is. I mean, okay, yeah, this shoe definitely has that sort of dad shoe vibe going on, but that's in right now, and this shoe is also very easy to rock because of its simplicity. For a relatively inexpensive price, you get a solid sneaker made of decent quality materials, especially for $85, and it comes in a bunch of different colors, so no matter what style you're looking for, you can probably find it in a pair of 574s. Next up at number 8 is the New Balance 650R. The 650R is a retro basketball inspired sneaker that features a beautifully clean high top makeup. There's something about that 80s basketball style that I just love. I love like the leather high top sneakers from that era, and this shoe just fits in so perfectly. It's not really anything crazy. It's not something I'd want to play basketball in today, but at the same time I wouldn't want to play basketball in Air Jordan 1s or even Air Jordan 3s today. This shoe is just a clean classic look that comes in a lot of different colorways and a couple different awesome collaborations, and if you're looking for that sort of like 80s basketball vibe, this is a great shoe to go with. And honestly, for 140 bucks, you're getting a very high quality sneaker with some decent leather on the upper of the shoe, and it also looks amazing and is very easy to style. So in my opinion, the 650R is a solid way to go if you're looking for a new pair of high tops. And actually, I should also mention that the shoe is surprisingly comfortable for an 80s inspired sneaker. It doesn't feature like crazy cushioning or anything like that, but the upper is well padded and the midsole is soft enough. Coming in at number 7 is the New Balance Fresh Foam X 1080 V12. This shoe is probably, if not by far, the most comfortable shoe on this list. This shoe is insanely soft underfoot. Obviously, this shoe is meant as a performance running sneaker, a max cushion performance running sneaker, and so that's why you've got this huge Fresh Foam X midsole. But because of that midsole, you get this insanely well cushioned ride that's accented and actually amplified by the really soft knit upper. I hate to say it because I'm such a sneakerhead and I own hundreds of pairs of shoes, or 100 pairs of shoes, but this is the shoe that I probably wear the most regularly. This is a shoe that I throw on almost every single day, not only because of how comfortable it is, but also because of how versatile it is. You can run in this shoe, you can walk in this shoe, you can wear the shoe for just daily lifestyle wear. It's an all-around, almost perfect sneaker. It might not be as pretty as some of the other shoes on the list. It definitely features that sort of like futuristic sock-like aesthetic that some people love, some people hate, but if you're looking for a great everyday shoe that's incredibly comfortable underfoot, or even just a max cushion performance running sneaker, this is a great way to go. And for 160 bucks, it's not cheap, but it's also a lot cheaper than some of the other popular running sneakers out there. I mean, honestly, this sneaker is dope. I love it. I can't say enough good things about this shoe. It actually probably should have been higher on the list, but technically this list is not really in any specific order. I should have said that earlier on in the video, but this list is just kind of the top 10 best New Balance sneakers in whatever order you want. So there you go. Not to ruin the list for you. Coming in at number 6 is the New Balance 550. This shoe is probably one of my favorite shoes in my entire collection. I'm looking at my shoe wall right now and I can't see many shoes that I've worn more than this shoe, other than of course the New Balance 1080 V12s, but that aside, as you can probably tell, the New Balance 550 looks very familiar to another shoe that we already talked about on the list. The 650R is essentially a high top version of this shoe. It features the same midsole and a lot of the same paneling on the upper. And again, this shoe is inspired by retro basketball sneakers from the 80s, and that's one of the reasons why I love this shoe so much. It's a leather low top sneaker that's very easy to wear. It comes in a bunch of different colors, and it comes in some pretty awesome collaborations like this, the ALD collaboration. And not only that, but the history behind this shoe is also pretty interesting. The 550 first released as a performance basketball sneaker back in 1989. It was on the market for a couple years and then was filed away until 2020 when Teddy Santis, the founder of ALD, decided that he wanted to collaborate on the 550 silhouette and brought the silhouette back out of the archives. And now in 2023, there are tons of 550s available in tons of different colorways and in tons of different collaborations. It's an incredibly versatile sneaker that's pretty comfortable on foot, and for 110 bucks, I don't know if there's a sneaker I'd rather have on the list for that price. Coming in at number 5 is the New Balance 2002R. Originally released back in 2010, this high-end performance running model quickly became one of the most popular lifestyle models of the 2020s. And personally, I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One, there was a lot of great collaborations on this shoe. In fact, great collaborations continue to come out in the 2002R. And two, it's also a really great looking sneaker for just 140 bucks. The paneling on the upper of this shoe is just so interesting, not to mention the materials, especially on collaborations like this, are high quality and A1 in my opinion. You've also got a very comfortable midsole that's sort of a mix between energy and absorb cushion. And even though the 2002R is not a sneaker that I'd pick over other sneakers to run in today, it's still an incredibly comfortable lifestyle model that I would wear all the time, and I have a bunch of pairs of these, so I do tend to wear it all the time. And you know what, if I had to recommend one pair of New Balance 2002Rs, personally, I'd recommend the Salehi Bembury's. The orange colorway of the shoe, I just think it's amazing, and plus the materials are amazing. Honestly, a great all-around sneaker that's very comfortable and very good looking. And speaking of comfort, if you're looking for a comfortable pair of socks that also look good to match with your New Balance sneakers, I definitely recommend my sock brand Apothecary and our brand new mid-length essentials. For months, you guys have been asking us to drop mid-length essentials, a mid-sock to go next to our crew-length socks and our low socks, and we finally have a white, gray, and black pair that are going to be always available. And of course, if you guys want to grab a pair of the Apothecary mids, they're available on apothecary.com starting this Friday the 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Moving on to number 4 is the New Balance 993. The 993 is another New Balance classic. It's one of the newer New Balance classics and honestly features a very clean and minimal aesthetic that I love. I mean, okay, I guess I could say that about a lot of the New Balance sneakers on today's list and a lot of New Balance sneakers in general, but this one in particular is incredibly, incredibly clean. Plus, it's comfortable, which is awesome. The 993 is part of the legendary and classic 990 line and features very soft cushioning underfoot, as well as a very well padded upper, which makes it a pleasure to wear all day. Actually, very similar to the 992s, another shoe which I put on previous lists and that could have gone on this list, but this year I decided to focus on the 993 because we're getting more collabs on the 993 over the 992s. Plus, this shoe is a made in the USA pair from New Balance, which means that 70% of the domestic value of this shoe is from the United States, and those shoes tend to have a slightly better quality because they're making you pay a little bit more for them. This shoe is a $200 sneaker. It's not cheap, but because it's more expensive, it features slightly nicer materials, and the build quality of this shoe is a little bit nicer than some of the cheaper New Balance sneakers. I don't know if that's because it's made in the United States States or if it's because it's more expensive. I'd presume that it's just because it's more expensive, but either way, it's a great looking sneaker that uses really solid materials. Coming in at number 3 is the New Balance 9060. The 9060 is a brand new New Balance silhouette that's sort of a mashup of some of their older silhouettes and older design styles mixed with some of their more futuristic and newer design styles. And I think all of those things combined create a shoe that is not only unique, but also very comfortable and very good looking. I mean, just look at the midsole of this shoe. It's wild. You don't see a lot of sneakers with midsoles like this. It's very unique, it's very out there, but it definitely gives this shoe some character, which I love. But for me personally, the thing that really draws me to this sneaker is the paneling on the upper. It's intricate, it's clean, it's not overly complicated, but it really gives the shoe a lot of interest. And even though the 9060 is a lifestyle silhouette, I love the sort of retro running aesthetic. I think that's really popular right now in like the early 2020s, and it's a shoe that is very wearable with a lot of different outfits and also has a very fashion-forward feel to it. And you can grab the standard colorway of the 9060s right now for the retail price of $150, or you can grab one of the more limited collaborations, like this Bodega collaboration, for a slightly higher retail price, but as you probably could have guessed, when it comes to collaboration sneakers, these pairs are a lot harder to find. Coming in at number 2 is the New Balance 990 V6. The New Balance 990 line is one of New Balance's most popular lines of all time, and the New Balance 990 V5 is one of their most popular releases. And of course, the 990 V6 is the follow-up to that now classic sneaker. When the 990 line was first released with the 990 V1, the shoe was designed to be the best running sneaker of all time. And as the models and iterations have progressed, the shoe continues to be a great all-around running sneaker, but also a very comfortable and wearable lifestyle sneaker. And the 990 V6 is no different. This is an all-around excellent shoe, whether you're trying to run in this sneaker or just wear it for daily lifestyle wear. This shoe not only looks incredible in my opinion, but is also very comfortable underfoot no matter what you're doing. And personally, I think the 990 V6 is probably my second favorite 990 of all time. I think the V3 is probably my favorite, but the V6 is a very close second. And it's just because I love the paneling on this shoe. I love the futuristic yet retro aesthetic of the sneaker. It's just an all-around incredible looking shoe that I wear all the time. And I know I've said that about a bunch of shoes on this list, but I mainly wear New Balances. The shoe features fuel cell foam and an end cap midsole, which makes it incredibly soft underfoot. You've got some really nice modern but also classic materials on the upper, like suedes and meshes, accented by some synthetic materials that also make this shoe fit a lot better than previous pairs. In fact, this is one of the only pairs of 990s that I actually grab in my true size. I usually go a half size down because they tend to be a little bit big. And another thing I love about the 990 V6 is how comfortable and soft the upper of this shoe is. All around, an incredibly comfortable shoe, not as soft underfoot as something like the 1080 V12, but this is a close second in terms of comfort. And aesthetically, this shoe would blow the 1080 V12 out of the water, at least in my opinion. So if you're looking for an incredibly comfortable, versatile, and great looking pair of sneakers that you can wear every single day, the New Balance 990 V6 has you covered. However, it is a little bit more expensive at $200. So if you're willing to drop that kind of money on a pair of sneakers, go for it. If not, there's a lot of other great shoes on this list. And then finally, rounding off the list at number 1 is the New Balance 1906R. So something I just learned recently is that the 1906R is named after the year that New Balance was founded, 1906. And personally, I think the 1906R is going to be the most popular New Balance silhouette of 2023. The shoe is incredible. It's inspired by 2000s running sneakers. It features the same midsole as the 2002R, but the upper of the shoe features this awesome retro-inspired look, which I just love. And in terms of sneaker fashion, this shoe is probably the trendiest New Balance right now. The upper of the shoe features that 2000s running aesthetic that a lot of the other sneakers on the list featured, but this one looks especially 2000s, which I think a lot of people love right now. And just the materials used on this shoe are so versatile. This is the This Is Never That collaboration, and it features a ton of synthetic pieces and plastic pieces and this crazy metallic mesh, but the normal version of the shoe comes with this really nice suede. You can put so many different materials on the upper of this shoe and still make it look incredible. It's such an aesthetically versatile silhouette, and I love it. It's a shoe that I honestly didn't even know about until the end of last year, and now that I have a pair in hand and have had a chance to actually wear it, I've fallen in love. It's a beautiful sneaker. In terms of comfort, this shoe features an Activa light midsole paired with absorbed cushioning on the heel, and the upper of the shoe, again, is very well padded and relatively breathable for a shoe that features this much going on the upper. I can't believe I'm saying this early in 2023, but I think the 1906R is probably my favorite silhouette from New Balance this year. And no, it's not from New Balance this year, but I definitely think this is going to be the most popular silhouette, at least in terms of sneakerheads. I mean, have you seen it? It's such a wild looking sneaker, but it looks so good. I love it. But that pretty much wraps up the entire list for today. Let me know your thoughts on this list in the comment section down below, and I will see you all in the next one.